Hello and welcome to my review of the Phoenix Lord Asurmen or Asurmen for Aeldari for Warhammer 40,000 from Games Workshop. Now, Asurmen will cost £28 and consist of 14 plastic components. I think it's one of the Phoenix Lords with the fewest components, although Morgan Ra also has 14 and Baharoth also has 14. So there's at least 3 with 14 parts there. But Fugan and Likis especially have more components. The format of this review is as usual. I'll take a closer look at Asurmen. There are no spare parts, so we won't go through those, but then I'll go through some size comparisons, and finally at the end I'll go through all of the rules. Stay tuned for the size comparisons because I have fished out a load of my old 1990 Aeldari models, so that might be quite fun for you. So let's have a look at Asurmen and how easy he was to build. Great model. The only issue I had with him, and you can probably tell, I don't know, is the sword, like where his hand joins onto the wrist there. It is a bit hit or miss, and it's on a slight angle, and I would have preferred it to be, you know, vertical or something, but yeah, that's where you would have an issue if you were going to have an issue, where his hand pops out of that wrist there. But everything else goes together quite well. He's in a similar pose to his classic mini. The classic mini had him holding the sword in his right hand. This time he's just air fisting, I guess. But he's looking to the side like his old mini, and he's kind of aiming with the shuriken pistol as well, like his old mini. There are some nice touches, callbacks from the old mini. No longer does he have a pistol holster anywhere. He has his little man bag and some extra magazines, I think. But he does have this like yin and yang symbol there, and his helmet is very cool. Looks, you know, dare I say, Egyptian pharaoh-esque. It's kind of like a face on the helmet, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, he's on the scenic base, which I don't know, kind of needed it because otherwise he would have been a bit smaller. He's got a couple of GoPros there, or they're probably targeting, linked to his shuriken pistols, and his banner is quite nice. Like the plume and things kind of looks a bit Spartan-esque, doesn't it? But yeah, he's not my favourite Phoenix Lord, as you can probably tell, but wanted to get him for the channel and the upcoming Combat Patrol Army box set to go with some new Dire Avengers, because I don't have any new Dire Avengers. So there you go, that's Asurmen. Nice looking mini. So no spare parts, so let's get straight into the size comparisons. We'll kick off with all the other Phoenix Lords. So the new ones, we've got Fugan, which is my favourite. He's my fave. And then we've got Likis. I don't have Baroth yet, but I wanted to give you comparisons with those two. Where he stands, he's sort of similar heighted to Fugan if you don't count the Seer Song. But he's a bit smaller than Likis because of her, web scenic base. Compared to the other two newer old Phoenix Lords, so Morgan Ra and Jane Zar, that's where he stands, there. So he's the smallest, I would say, just because of their poses and things. But he's similar to Fugan. I think that Baroth would be the tallest and biggest because of the wings and things, but we'll see when we get the 7th one. And Karandras probably is going to be bigger than Asurmen. So that's all of the kind of new-ish Phoenix Lords. Then we'll give you a blast from the past right now with old 1990s painted Asurmen. Can you believe that? I must have liked Asurmen more than Fugan back then because I painted him. So please forgive the paint by numbers. But yeah, that's where he stands up next to the old one. I dare say that the helmet is bigger on the old one by a fair amount. He was really rocking it back then. So yeah, it's my terrible freehand painting. I probably will paint over that one day. I don't know why I did that, but yeah. Got the yin and yang. It's such paint by numbers, it's crazy. That's the beauty about Warhammer. Like, I think I probably have varnished him, so that's going to be tricky to paint over, but I'll have a try. Even if I went over him with contrast paints, it'd probably be an improvement. But yeah, that's the blast from the past. And the only Dire Avengers I've got, I think, so forgive me if I'm wrong, is just these really old ones where the helmets were metal, where the heads were metal, and then these kind of I don't know, lens cleaners or something, whatever, these cloths that they've got are also metal, and they kept coming off. They were a pain. But yeah, I'm sure that the newer Dire Avengers will be slightly bigger and more detail. I think I've got some new Eldar somewhere, but yeah, that's where he measures up to the old ones. In fact, here is one of the newer Eldar Guardian models. So can I compare? They're on the 28.5mm basis, so they're a little bit bigger than the old. So just imagine this is blue, and being a Dire Avenger, it's going to work well, I guess, with some Dire Avengers of this size. It's going to be quite tall compared to them, but definitely, I mean, the difference between these two isn't that great compared to something like the Fire Dragons, which will blow your mind. Yeah, look at that. It's almost like he's brought his child to work. Now compared to some other Eldar models, so we have the Avatar of Cain right there, and then we have a Wraith Knight, which doesn't even fit into the picture, but if we just move the camera up a bit, it gives you some kind of idea of Asurmen compared to an Avatar. I'll probably say the top of the helmet goes to his waist, maybe. There you go. I think this is like a £67 mini, and this is like a £28, so 2 and a bit more times more expensive. But yeah, Avatar's my favourite out of all the Eldar right now. And then a final little comparison with some Imperium models. So we have Space Marine, Slime Marbo, and Primaris. So Space Marine is barely up to the chest, and a Primaris is, you know what, I would say Primaris is slightly taller, just slightly, from head to foot. And Slime Marbo is, yeah, chest height maybe. So yeah, he's decent size. I still think like Fugan's taller though. But I hope those comparisons have helped. So this is my part of the review where I will go through all of Asurmen's rules. You'll find them in your brand new 10th edition Aeldari Codex, and he's in the section of Phoenix Lords with the rest of them, which is what I would prefer. You've got the Avatar of Cain, you've got Farseer Skyrunner, so Farseer on jet bike. You've got the Autarch, and the Autarch with wings like a Wayleaper. You've got Eldrad, and then you've got your Phoenix Lords. That's the perfect order, in my opinion. So Asurmen is right below Eldrad, and he will cost you 120 points. He's one of the pricier Phoenix Lords, and what I mean by that is there's a few of them that are about 120 points, and what you're getting with him is a start line that reads movement of 7 inches, toughness of 3, save of 2+, invulnerable save of 4+, 5 wounds, leadership 6+, and objective control 1. How does that compare to Fugan? Well, they have exactly the same stat line. So same wounds, same toughness, same saves, same movement speed. So he's one of the, I say, slower Phoenix Lords. Likis is obviously 12 inches, and Baharoth is 14 inches. Now, he's an epic hero, and he's equipped with Bloody Twins, and the Sword of Azure. So the Bloody Twins are his shuriken pistols. They're a named weapon, so they're bound to be good. They are a ranged weapon. They're assault pistol, range of 24 inches, 6 attacks, ballistic skill 2+, strength 5, AP -1, damage 2. Yeah, they're pretty solid. Would I like them to have AP -2? You betcha, definitely. But how they compare to normal shuriken pistols, well, you know, they're double the range. Obviously, he's got 6 attacks there. They're going to be hitting because it's a ballistic skill 2+. The strength is better at 5, but then their AP is the same, but they do 1 more damage. So this is what I mean. Like, it would have been nice to have them as AP -2. But, you know, double range, 24-inch pistols is mental. Now, melee weapons. This is where it's at, though. The Sword of Azure, whose hilt bears the spirit stone of Asurmen's brother, Thesis. Now, already it has devastating wounds, straight up. It has 6 attacks, weapon skill 2+, strength 6, AP -3, and damage 3. That's very decent. It means that it gives Fugin's Fire Axe a run for its money. I would have preferred Fugen to have a strength 6 and maybe this sword to have a strength 5, but there we go. I think it's odd that this sword has a higher strength than his Fire Axe, but the AP -3 is fine because it does have the devastating wounds. And the straight up damage 3 is nice too. The model can be attached to the following unit: Dire Avengers. He is a leader. Faction ability is Battle Focus, and then he's got a couple of unique abilities such as Tactical Acumen. While this model is leading a unit in your shooting phase, after that unit has shot, it can make a normal move up to 6 inches. If it does, until the end of the turn, that unit is not eligible to declare a charge. That's very nice. So they can shoot, and then they can make like an extra move, which is good. Hand of Azuran. Once per battle, when this model is selected to shoot, it can use this ability. If it does, until the end of that phase, its Bloody Twins weapon has a damage characteristic of 3 and the anti-infantry and devastating wounds abilities. Now that is horrific, okay? That's only once per battle, but that would be very good. You know, you're straight up damage 3 now. You know, your anti-infantry is 3+, so you know you can forget about that strength 5 being a thing, and having devastating wounds as well. That could really turn the tide. As you know, they've got 6 shots too, so you could potentially wipe out a whole unit of Space Marines. Now, keywords: infantry, character, epic hero, Aeldari, grenades, aspect warrior, Phoenix Lord, Asurmen, Azurani. So there you go. That is my review of Asurmen. I think he's pretty decent, especially if he leads a unit of Dire Avengers. Giving them that extra 6-inch move is nice. I don't know how much more effective that is compared to, say, like Fugin's Burning Lance, giving all the melter weapons an extra 6 inches. I probably would have preferred that for the Dire Avengers, to give them their Avenger Shuriken catapults, you know, range of 24 inches instead of the 18, because it means if he's leading them, he's going to be shooting first, and then they're going to have to spend another movement phase kind of getting closer to the enemy. But I suppose you could have it where they use that extra move to get closer to the enemy anyway. His use isn't quite as specific as Fugen in that, you know, you want to be going after heavy armor and vehicles and things. At the end of the day, he still only has toughness 3 and 5 wounds, and he can't get back up like Fugen either. So he has the potential of getting swamped. I think he would do well against other HQ units and leaders and groups of like 10 or 15 infantry, but any more than that, or say he's up against like a Wraith Knight equivalent or something, or a Dreadnought, he could get squished pretty quickly. What do you guys think of Asurmen? Please do put your thoughts and opinions of him down below. It'd be good to hear from you. Thank you for watching. The Avatar protects.